Hi everybody, welcome back. I am working today in the Halloween book by, it says Tanya Bogema on here, but a lot of her stuff says Tatiana Bogema, and then it has Stolova in parentheses. So I don't know, some of her books are under one and some is under the other. I never remember to bring tape over here so I can tape my cord out of the way. But anyway, I did one page in this book already, and I didn't do it very detailed. I just went in and put down just basic flat color on it with some color tip markers, Crayola color tips. But anyway, now I'm going to start on this page, and I'll be using the Crayola Blend and Shade colored pencils. Now I only have a set of, I'm not even sure how many's in this. I was trying to look. I think it's 24. Yeah, 24. And as I'm using these, you'll see that the pencils look a little rough. They've been through a car trip, and I did not clean them up after I moved. And it was a long car ride. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to be doing the whole page in these pencils, but today I'll be using them on it anyway. And I'm just trying to figure out where to begin on this, honestly, because it has a ton of detail in it. So I'm just going to go in and put the basic color down first. And see how it goes from there. I may add, some of the shading and stuff like that in today. I'm going to wing it. I don't know what I'm doing. But I might do the whole page in these pencils. I don't know. I'm going to see what kind of shape they're in. Because I really don't even remember if they transported in my car or in the moving truck. And I don't remember how I had them packed or anything. But I know, well, this pencil doesn't look too bad. There must have been some loose color in the tin with them, because most of the barrels have streaks of color all over them. So, and I didn't know that until just now whenever I opened the box. But I think I might have done one video using these before, but I thought I would try to, because I use different pencils, different markers, sometimes watercolor, and sometimes gel pen, not very often. But I thought I would try to do some videos using different things, because it seems like usually in my videos I'm using Prismacolors. And a lot of that is just because it's something that's more common that people use, and it's probably my favorite pencil to use. It's definitely the one I'm the most comfortable with, so it's kind of my go-to pencil. But I do still use the other ones. I just don't usually videotape with them. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to try to videotape whenever I use the other color mediums that I have. And these pencils, I think I did a review on them, but I can't remember for sure. It's been a while. So anyway, they are softer than the regular Crayolas, but when you're finished with them, I don't really think they have much more pigment than the original Crayolas. So they're a little easier on your hands if you do have trouble applying the pressure with the standard Crayola pencils. Then these might be a good option. But as far as the blending and shading, they do about as well as the original Crayola pencils. And I'm just putting down a light layer right now. I'm going to be really limited on colors since I only have the 24 set. And if I remember right, I think one of them in the set had a broken core. And I tried heating it up with a heating pad, letting it cool and all that, and it just didn't work. It just still was broken. So I'm hoping it's not all the way through, and it might have even been more than one, but I think it was just one that was really bad. So it might have just been like a defective pencil or something. So what I'm doing right now is going through and putting the base color down on the pumpkins. Which I think there's quite a few of in here. Oh, that's her feet in front of it. I was thinking that it was like cut out or something. And I'm really hoping that I can flip this video the other direction because I'm kind of taping it upside down. But I tried different angles with the camera and nothing really worked except for this angle. I'm trying. I really don't know if my hand is blocking anything, but I'm going to try to come in a little bit closer because I can move the page around if I need to. But I know when it's further away like that, and there's a bunch of detail in this picture, so it makes it more difficult to see when you're further away. So I'm going to try that and see if it helps. Now, I thought there were a bunch of pumpkins in this, but this is kind of like a seek and find picture because there's just so much going on. And I don't really see any other ones except for the massive one in the middle, but yeah, I thought there were a lot more of those. I was going to record whenever I was using the markers on the previous page, but it had been a really long time since I used them, so I decided since I wasn't going to be doing any kind of shading or anything like that, that I would just do that on my own time off camera. And I'm glad I did too, because I forgot how, with the water-based markers, how much it tends to wrinkle up the page. So it was a good, like, refresher course for me on using those. Because I used to use them quite frequently in other books. But, yeah, it's hard to believe how out of practice I got by not coloring for just a few months. Where I live now, I did live in the country, and now I'm in the city, and so where I live now, you can hear road noise all the time in the background. You can also hear the air kicking on because I totally forgot to turn it off, and it's only like, I don't even know why it's kicking on, because it's only like 70 degrees outside right now. So I don't really have to run it, I just forgot to turn it off. I'm still working on getting over my cold or whatever I had, flu, something. But I'm doing much better than I was, and I'm not having to take all the cold medicine and stuff now. I keep trying to look for, I don't know, a faster way to color. I haven't come up with one yet. But, well, markers are slightly faster. Well, they're definitely faster than pencil. But, yeah, I haven't come up with a good one yet that I want to use for videos. But, because I really like how the pages turn out with pencil, plus a lot of the paper I use is just better suited to pencil or double-sided or something like that. And there's just not a quick way to go with pencils. I do want to do some watercolor though one day. I know I used the Neocolor 2s in watercolor for the poster I was working on, which I haven't finished yet, but I don't really have a table here right now that's the right size for doing it. Except for the one that I have, like, my computer and printer on. So I'd have to move everything, and I don't even have a light over there. I know that sounds really lazy, but one day I'll get back to it. I haven't seen this page yet, colored in. I didn't even think to look it up to see. But as far as coming across my Facebook or Instagram or anything, I haven't seen a colored one of this one yet. But it looked pretty cool. I wish I had enough memory on my phone that I could do, like, edit the video and speed color this part, because it's all just the same. But I don't really have a good way to do that. And I know I could transfer it over to my computer and download an app there. But in order to use my computer, I have to use what's that called? I don't remember what it's called, but I have to use, like, turn on the Wi-Fi, like the hotspot that's it on my phone to use that internet for the computer, so I rarely use it. Pretty much only, like, when it's absolutely needed for something. Yay, I got that part filled in. Let's see. So instead of trying to decide if I want to go ahead and keep putting down just the base colors, yeah, that's what I'll do instead of going in and shading just yet. Oh, so that was, I forgot to even say, that was the orange. And now I'm going in with yellow orange. Try to wipe that off a little bit. To do like this pumpkin rind. Or what, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And see, there's not a lot of difference between those two colors, really. But once I go in and add the shading and stuff, plus I think I went a lot lighter with the orange, mainly because I just didn't feel like sharpening it. And so it had a pretty blunt tip on it. But I'll try to do that part on camera anyway, so that it shows. I'd like to do this whole page on camera if I can, but we'll see how that goes. Sometimes the uploading process takes so long that I just get like, ugh, I'm just going to go ahead and work on it. And so they don't get done on camera. I saw today on my phone an alert came in that there's a freeze warning where I did live. And it seems so funny because where I'm at now, it's like 70 degrees. So at first when the freeze warning came in, I didn't see the town name. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's warm. There's no way it would freeze. And then I saw that it was from where I was living. See, that's what I don't like about the angle. My hand always blocks it. I'll try to hold my pencil back a little bit further. Goodness. I wish I could quit clearing my throat. Okay, I'm going to use this jade green for... Actually, no, I'm not. Change of plans. Okay, I'm going back with the yellowed orange. Yeah. To color this part on the pumpkins. And honestly, whenever it comes time for me to go in and add white, I probably won't use the Blend and Shade white because it just doesn't do anything. It works, I think, if I remember right, it works fine as a blending pencil, but it doesn't, the white doesn't show up on top of the color really. It's just kind of clear. So my favorite pencil to use for white, well, it's kind of a toss-up between the Prismacolor white and this Derwent Drawing Chinese white. But that's really the one I like to use the most. That's probably what I'll use when it's time to go in for the white highlights. I'm kind of thinking I should have stuck with that green color that I was going to use for this part. But it's a little too late now. So I think for today I'll just stick to the pumpkins. And this is goldenrod. I couldn't find my, usually I do a swatch page anytime that I get a new set of pencils in, but I couldn't find my swatch paper for these, so that's why that kind of happened with the oranges, because I didn't realize how close they were in pigment. I'm looking for my pencil sharpener, which I've located, so that I can sharpen my orange up a little bit and see about darkening the pumpkin some. And then I also want like a reddish orange. It's really, the core on this looks more pink than reddish orange, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, it's definitely more pinkish, but oh well. I was hoping if I come in here and did some shadowing with this that I could go over it in the orange. We shall see. And the sharpener I was using is the Tagal. And I think I used, let me look at it, but yeah. I used the number 2 setting for sharpening. I always use the number 1 setting for my Prismacolors. But apparently for these I used the number 2. And this one does have a broken core, so I'm going to have to try to baby this one to get the most color out of it as I can before it completely breaks off. That's one of the problems with these being softer than the original Crayolas, is that they just seem to break so easily, and I mean even easier than the Prismacolors do. I think that does help though with the coloring where the orange and the yellowed orange were so similar. So now I'm coming back in with the orange with a sharper point, and that does make a difference too. And that does help to orange up some of that red. And then I'm going to go in with a yellow here shortly for some of the lighter spots. And this is just the standard yellow, but I need to sharpen it too. Sorry about the constant throat clearing. And on this Create Space paper, if you use a sharper tip, it helps get down into the little valleys on the paper so it doesn't show as much of the white specks through it, if you care about that. And then I'm using this goldenrod to go over some of this, and I'll come back with the yellowed orange to go over a few of the spots that I wanted a little bit darker. But I'm just trying to make it a little bit more of a difference between that and the pumpkin. And this is the yellow orange. Pretty much what I'll be doing to those. I'm trying to see where I'm at. Oh man, I'm so sorry that was out of frame. I always forget to check that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one since that last one was out of frame. And so again, I'm going in with this red orange just to darken up some of the shadows a little bit. I had forgotten that I had moved the camera closer, which cut off a portion of the page, because I thought, well, I can move the book around, but then I never remember to move the book around, so I don't really know why I thought I could do that. I'm going to have to move my leg here in a second because it's falling asleep. Oh, there we go. I wish I had more to talk about. I just have trouble coming up with things. Especially when I'm just like coloring kind of the same of something, so nothing's really changing there. Try to find my right pencil because they all rolled whenever I move my leg. And this is the orange again. In some of those areas, I'm intentionally leaving a little bit lighter with the orange. Those are the areas that I go over in the yellow. And this is like pretty much the same thing I'm going to be doing on this guy. I probably should have done that one instead of these because it would have been easier to see. But when I'm working with colors that I'm not as familiar with, I like to start with something small to try to make my mistakes on and figure out the fixes and stuff before I move on to like a big part of the page. That's kind of the focal point of the page too, so that is why I went with these smaller ones first. And then this is the yellow. I was trying to remember on that part if I used goldenrod or yellow. I don't remember. And you might not even be able to tell much of a difference when I add this pencil in, but I can tell a difference here anyway. This is the yellow orange. Again, I need to sharpen. I just have trouble coloring with a dull pencil. I know a lot of people can do it. I'm not one of those people. And this lead too, it's really wiggly. So I've got questions about that one too. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Okay, and then I got I'm trying to remember, yeah, that's the goldenrod color, so that's what I'm going to use here. And I really haven't tried this pencil on top of these yet. On top of the Crayolas, so I don't know how well they show up. It's not bad. I've used it on top of a lot of other things, but since I don't use these Crayolas a lot mainly because of the broken core thing. And this one I just didn't feel like sharpening right now because I didn't need it to be a super fine line or anything. I was just trying to brighten those up a little bit. And I think it did that. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to go over all those dots with that goldenrod. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do these two stems. That way I will be finished with those pencils. I don't really have the color I want, so I am going to use, if I've got the right colors, tan and jade green on those. And I like this jade green color. It's really pretty. But it just wasn't quite what I was looking for. Oh, I have the setting on 3. I thought I had it on 2. So I wanted the stem to have green, but I also wanted it to be slightly brown. So I was kind of looking for an olive green, which I did not have. And now that I'm looking, I should have went ahead and done this other stem too, even though I don't have that pumpkin finished. But while I have the colors out. Well, I did have the colors out. And then to darken that up, what is this? This says that it's light brown, but oh, maybe it's got some of that white dusty stuff or waxy stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm going to use to darken this up just a little. And that is how I'm going to do those pumpkins. So now I'm going to try to upload this and see how long it takes. If it's done early enough in the day, I'm going to go ahead and finish this one off camera, but I'll come back on to work on that guy if that gets done in time.